It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Grand View's assistant women's wrestling coach, Arelys Valles. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started coaching in college women's wrestling?
To be honest, I didn't know I wanted to coach. I was even get into coaching. I had no intentions to. I went to college not knowing what I wanted to do. I just kind of went, I'm on scholarship. Let's kind of figure it out. One of those typical athletes. I got into extra sports science, and then my freshman year, I tore my ACL, and I was in the athletic trainer the whole time. So like, oh, this is something I want to do. So I was very passionate about wanting to be an athletic trainer. I graduated my undergrad. I was trying to get into grad school, but there was prereqs that I didn't know I needed to get into the AT program and the masters, and I didn't take those courses. So I just kind of stayed in my alumni school, just kind of did the masters in coaching. And I think I want to say midway through my first year in grad school is when I kind of started, and I was starting to get signs, like kept getting like, I don't know, signs. I kept getting directions that my path should be into coaching. And then my mentor, Omi Acosta, the life men's coach, she's the one that actually kind of pushed me into coaching, into applying. Because I was very young. I was 23 at the time. And he was just very adamant, like, you should do it. You should do it. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, you see something in me that I don't see. So I'm going to go with it.
What was that experience like for you going to UC Cumberland and getting to compete in women's wrestling?
It was awesome. I said, when I started college wrestling, it was less than 15 programs, so we were very new. I said it was WCWAs. We called the Wild Wild West days with the coaches who were around it. And it felt awesome because UC was around for it was one of the first programs that started. And the more special thing about too, my first wrestling coach in middle school and his wife went to Cumberland's. So that was kind of neat. And then my cross country coach, they went to Cumberland's too. So I had like about 6 coaches that went there. So it was pretty awesome that I get to go to a school that my coaches went, and it was just sorry, it just happened.
What was that feeling like getting to put on that singlet for UC Cumberland?
It felt awesome. It's kind of like, I'm from a small town. I didn't think anything about going to college wrestling, and it was just awesome getting to compete, just putting on a collegiate singlet and compete. It felt awesome because you see this is what you see on TV.
While in college, what were some of your biggest accomplishments on the wrestling mat?
Probably my biggest accomplishment as a collegiate athlete, I would say, being a 2-time WCW All-American and winning the Bill Farrell in 2018. That actually got me to qualify for my first World Team Trials.
How was that transition like for you going from being an athlete to a grad assistant at UC Cumberland?
I actually was never a grad assistant. I was only a grad student on the wrestling team. I was a grad assistant for the leadership department. So yeah, that was a big transition.
What was that transition like for you going from being a wrestler to getting into coaching?
For sure, it was a transition. Say I was very young too. I was 23 when I took my first head coaching job. So it was a big transition. I was just got done competing straight into coaching, where I had to start recruiting, do my budgeting. It was just like I just got thrown into the wolves. But lucky I'm able to adapt very quickly. There was a lot of trial and errors. I'll say that my first year for sure, that was a huge adjustment.
What was that feeling like becoming a head coach for the first time and being so young?
It was awesome. Actually felt really good. It gave me a lot of confidence. Like I'm so young. I got a head coach job at 23. My AD and them trust me. I have people that believed in me. And I felt good. I felt like, honestly, I had a feeling this is where I was meant to be. And like, I had a passion. I want to take my girls to the next level.
While at Brewerton Park, what was some of your accomplishments as the head coach?
As a head coach, my first year there, um, some of the accomplishment I had the programs, for the first time, it was actually ranked in the NEIA. So the team was never ranked before I got there. So they were ranked. My girl was ranked always second in the country. I produced the first WCW All-American and conference champ.
Of course, how was that transition like going from being a head coach to getting into club coaching and coming to Grandview Wrestling Club?
It was a pretty easy adjustment. I love the kids. Like I'm a kid at heart, so it's easy for me to adapt to them. So when I started up the club here at Grandview, it was pretty easy. I didn't think twice about it. It's just fun. And so I enjoy watching them be eager to learn, and and also they love being in the college room. They absolutely love coming in the room. They love seeing the college girls. They love seeing them, and they make it fun. Also, when we have our tough days, they remind me why I started doing this. They remind me like why I'm still doing it. They give me all the good pros. It's like you guys always give me that reminder.
What are some of the things that you learned as your time as a head coach to help you to come to Grandview as the assistant coach?
Um, there's a lot of things I actually learned. And I actually think it was for me going from a head coach at Broome Parker to an assistant coach here at Grandview. Actually, it benefit a lot. The head coach Angelo Crinzy. That's actually one of the reasons why he hired me, because I was a head coach. So I knew a lot of what he was thinking, what he was going through, especially administration wise. He knew, like, I understood completely how that works. So that really actually helped me out when I transitioned over to an assistant, and like the recruiting process, budgeting, responding back to emails, coaching, knowing your athlete actually did help a lot. So it was an easy transition.
What was that feeling like for you as a coach getting to step onto the Grandview wrestling mat?
It was pretty awesome. Like I said, I knew they were starting up a program, and I was like, "Hey, this program is going to go somewhere." I said, when it opened up, I'll start Broome Parker. I had no intentions to resign and even come to Grand. I was never in the picture, but I heard a lot about Grandview and the men's team. And my mentor, he actually is a Grandview alum. He was a national champ here. He was on the coaching staff. I had his assistant, also was an athlete here too. So when I was in the process getting to come over here, I reached out to them, and I was very excited. I was very excited about Grammy because we have a history in wrestling and athletics, and also you're in Iowa. That's a big wrestling state, so that's something I was really looking forward to.
As a coach, what was that experience like getting to help build a new program for the women's wrestling?
It felt really good, especially being on the team when it first started. That was the biggest thing. Building it from the grounds up, watching all the trial, the errors, the good and bad that we started off with. Because, we were just talking about this last week. It was a head coach, me and my grad assistant, and she was part of the first year program. We're talking about the stuff we went through our first year, and looking how far we have gotten. So it's good to see how much we have grown. And also, it's also kind of funny to look back at things and stuff we did.
What does a typical wrestling match look like for you as a coach versus for your wrestlers?
Do that again.
What does a typical wrestling match look like for you as a coach versus for your wrestlers?
As a coach, I'm just making sure they're focused and they're ready to go. I don't try to talk to them too much. I give them some tips here and there, but I just want them to go with their game plan. I want them to wrestle their match, not to worry about that girl. So, always make sure, they're feeling good. And there's some specific girls, that I know some words they need to be told a few times, just kind of wording everything, make sure they're good to go, prepare to hype them up. I'm being their hype man, saying, "You got this."
Of course, how is that experience like as a coach, getting to coach in women's wrestling as it's growing popular as we go on?
It's really good, especially how much it's growing. I love that I'm in the process. I said, as an athlete and a coach, get into women's wrestling in college back in 2013 when there was less than 15 programs, and now there's over 100 programs, and the numbers are skyrocketing now at the collegiate and high school level. So it's awesome being part of it and seeing it grow and just continue to grow.
Who are some of the teams that you compete against each week?
We compete against everybody. Everybody, anybody. We're just go out there and competing. Like, we don't care what single you have on. If you have a single, I got shoes on, we're competing against you.
What are some of the notable teams that you have competed in the past with?
Repeat again?
What are some of the notable teams that you have competed in the past four?
Past four, well, let's see. We just had national duels this past weekend. We had about like 5 matches. We competed against Indiana Tech, Texas Westland, Oklahoma City, Missouri Baptist, Southern Oregon. We compete against everybody, anybody.
What does that home match look like when teams like Indiana Tech come to home versus going to Indiana Tech and playing them?
So for home, we have it set up pretty good. So, we have a specific gym that we do our home duel, and we have a freestyle mat. Our home mat for duels is actually two-sided. One side's folks, one side's freestyle. So we put the freestyle mat down. We have spotlights. We have a team walkout song. We have individual athletes walkout song. It's blacked out. The place is crowded. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of feels like a D1. I see on videos and stuff. I'm just like, dang, you guys are kind of spoiled. I never got all that.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you started to help build for the women's wrestling program at Grandview?
Yeah, the culture here is just kind of like a standard that they have here at Grandview. Like the men's team they started building the championship lifestyle. And that's the culture that every sport here at Grandview has, and from Crenzy, he was on the men's team when they first started. They first won 3 national champs. So he still has that mindset, the championship lifestyle. And that's the style we have here. You're here to wrestle 4 to 5 years. You have 4 or 5 years in college to be the best you can be, to be a national champ, to make the world team. Like, you have this opportunity, and that's the mindset they have. Like, we get that tunnel vision going. Let's be the best you can be. And we're gonna be here. Let's push it to the limit. Let's see the best you can be. Because after college, you're working a 9-to-5 job and it's not. So let's just take advantage of what's in front of you right now. Let's just, if you want to be a national champ, let's make it be a national champ. Let's do what we gotta do to be a national champ. Make a world team. Let's do this. What we gotta do? You gotta come here. You gotta run through a brick wall. Let's go run through a brick wall together. Then, like, you have the same mindset. Like, 4 or 5 years. Let's get it.
Of course, for my listeners that don't know, how do you compete in women's wrestling, and what is it like as a coach coaching in women's wrestling?
It's kind of tricky. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's just so normal because I'm a female too. So coaching them, it's pretty easy. I would say, anyone challenging just to get to know their personalities too. You can't coach everybody the same. You have to know your athlete. You have to know their personality. How can you talk to them? Because there's some girls I could talk to very stern to them, tell them how it is. There's other girls I gotta word things a little differently. I'll say that was probably the biggest challenge, that not everybody's the same.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective college women's wrestlers out there looking to make a college team?
Yeah, so we're always recruiting. Biggest thing we're looking for is, are you coachable? Are you coachable? What does your GPA look like? Because we know girls who has high GPAs in a classroom. We know they're going to be very coachable in the room. And also, we watch film on them. We watch film online and in person. We see how you win, like how the way you wrestle. Even the matches they lose, we see how they act. Okay, did they have the composure? Can they act, mature about it? We notice all that stuff. So that's the thing, is like, being coachable, having good grades. Do you have that mindset where you want to be the best? Are you going to give it your all? Because we're going to give you your all. We give you your all, we're going to give you our all too as well. And it's like, let's see the best you can be. That's the thing. We have high standards here, have high goals. If that's the goals you have here, then let's go.
What does that official visit look like for those prospective student athletes, and what is that like getting to see them fall in love with your facility?
Yeah, so a typical recruiting trip looks like they go to administration. They have a meeting with financial aid, admin. They do a campus tour. They visit the dorms. They visit the cafeteria, all around campus. They meet with faculty and staff. they get talked to about their major, their career path, and what can lead to what a Grandview has to offer them. And then once they're done with their tour, they'll come to athletics, and then we'll take over and we'll show them our facility, because we do have the women's program here does have its own facility, so our men's and women's team is completely separate. So we show them our facility, we show them both strength conditioning, we tell them we have chiropractors, we have a nutrition, we show them around campus, and we show them they got nothing to hide. We show them what Grammy is all about here, and it's fun to see their face fall in love with it. And after the tour, they attend the college practice, they meet the girls, they stay the night in dorms with the girls as well. So it's nice to see them bond with the girls. And like, there's recruits, I forgot they were recruits, because they just blended in with the girls and started talking, and I was just like, where's the recruit at? I don't know where she's at, because she was just blending and talking. She's like, yeah, I was hanging out with them. I was like, oh, okay, I guess you get along, the girls like you.
As a coach, what is that like, obviously having a women's wrestling facility versus sharing it with the men's wrestling program?
It's really good. Because I know it's having our own facility is a huge pro. I know my freshman year, before I went to Cumberland's, I had a shared facility. It was an open gym. I really didn't like it. Going to Cumberland's, I was very spoiled. I had my own facility. I didn't have to share with the men's. And I said, well, I went to Broome Parker and I had to share with the men's again. I really didn't like it. So being able to have our own facility is really big for us, because our room's open 24 hours a day. Because we have practice every day at 4 o'clock. So 4 p.m. every single day. We're not doing 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 7. No, we're doing 4 p.m. every day. So you have all day. You lift weights in the morning. You go to class. You do your work study in the daytime. And then you practice at 4 o'clock. And throughout the day, we're doing individuals. I'm probably in the room 4, 5, 6 hours a day, just working out with the girls, doing individuals all day. So that's a big benefit, having our own facility, because it's open to us. We're not here fighting with the men's team. Okay, what time are you going? What time are you going? Or the men's individual, the girls individual. Like, no, it's our room. It's there all day, every day. We don't share one other sports or nothing. It's just, and that's a big benefit, having our room and doing those individuals, because we noticed that has made a huge difference for our program.
As a coach, what is that feeling like, getting to see those freshmen put on those singlets for the first time?
It's awesome, because they follow us on Instagram and social media, so they're all kind of like, ooh, Grandview. When they come here, they're all excited, and seeing their face is like a kid on Christmas. They're like, oh my god, this singlet. Like when we do promos, they're all like, I have the singlet on, I get to do promos, I'm wearing the GV singlet. They feel it. They feel the culture. They feel what we have here at Grandview. So it's just like, it's nice to see their face smile, and they're okay, let's go. I got the singlet on, let's go wrestle. Like, I am a Viking.
What is that like, getting to see those seniors put on that singlet for the last time?
Oh, that's kind of tough. It's tough. Like, seeing my seniors right now. Actually, just yesterday, I was just emailing my seniors for senior night. It's tough watching it, because you built that bond with them for 4 or 5, 3 years that they're here, and then watching them put that singlet on for the last time, and then like knowing they're not going to be here next year. Like, it's one of those bittersweet. I'm very proud of them, being a student athlete, 4 years in college, very proud of them, but it's just building that bond with them, and now they're leaving me. It's one of those mixed feelings. Like, I'm proud of them, but I want them to stay with me still.
As a coach, what is that like, getting to see those athletes go on and compete professionally, whether it's nationally for US or go into companies like AEW and WWE?
It's awesome. Like I said, we have girls that are competing at the next level, and I'm always encouraging it. Right now we have so many opportunities. We have girls competing for different countries. I have one of the girls right now with me. She wrestles for Team Uruguay, and she's taking advantage of it. She's gonna do another cycle with them. So I'm proud that she is continuing to wrestle in that career and taking advantage of it, because she's just leading by example, showing my girls like, hey, you can't compete for another country. I know I have some of my girls at the end of the season, they're gonna be switching to their country as well to make the national team. We actually have one girl that we're actually going to work on getting with WWE. She's an upper weight, but she's very athletic, doing backflip, front flip. So my thing is take advantage of opportunity you have. If that's opportunity, take it. Because, one day it's going to come to an end. So just take advantage of it, what's in front of you. And they have been. My girls have been, they've been listening and they're taking advantage of it.
For those college athletes that are wrestlers, that are women wrestlers, what opportunities are out there for them to move on to the next level after college?
There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on. People are doing RTC. That's really big right now. I know we're starting for RTC this next few months, and we have girls that can compete at the next level. Like we have one of our girls that's sponsored by NYC. She's a senior, and so okay, we're gonna RTC going on where she could, she already has her sponsors helping her financially. So the RTC is gonna help her continue to train and continue helping her financially cover, and that's just leading by example. And right now, girls have opportunity. They have opportunity to go RTC, Olympic Training Center, making national teams. They have a lot more opportunity now than they did back then.
What is that like as a college coach, getting to see those wrestlers go compete in WWE and seeing them on national television?
I haven't had one of my athletes that's working on it, but that's awesome. I see one of my athletes on the big screen in WWE. Hey, I'd be the biggest cheerleader supporting them, sparring them, like, let's go. Like, it's a great opportunity to have, especially getting into it.
What are some of your future plans for the women's wrestling program moving forward?
Moving forward, just continue what we're doing now. We're still building a championship lifestyle. We're still building, to win that national title. Like nothing's changed here. We still have the same mindset. So we're just looking, continue to grow, continue to build up our athletes, continue, getting those trying to get those national titles at national duels, at NAIA, winning conference. Like our mindset's so straightforward. Nothing's gonna change. Even if we do win a title one year, that was one day we won it. Boom, let's move to the next thing. Let's move to next year. Like what we do to get better.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college women's wrestling?
Biggest thing I'll say is probably make sure you're getting weight management. That was something I will highly advise. Make sure you're controlling your weight management. You don't want your weight, especially going from high school to college, their bodies are changing. So just get a weight management going. Make sure you're on top of your classes, because I know freshmen usually kind of make those freshman mistakes with classes. So making sure you're on it. Don't overload yourself. Take the minimum 15 credits. Be coachable. Like I said, you are a freshman in college. Take advantage of it, because a lot of girls wish they're in your shoes right now. So yeah, I'll tell them, make sure you go to school, take 15 credits, go to class, submit your assignments. That's a professor side of me too. At practice, just be coachable and just be very coachable, and make sure you have good weight management. If you have good weight management, things are going to be a lot more smoother for you.
What advice would you give those senior women wrestlers out there that are looking to go compete professionally, whether it's WWE or AEW?
Hey, take advantage of it. If you have the opportunity to do it. Why not? Like, you're never going to know. You don't want to live life with regrets, right? So why not take the opportunity? If you haven't, it's right there. Take it. If not, you're going to 5-10 years down the line, you're going to be like, question yourself, why didn't I do it? Why didn't it? Worst thing that happens, it didn't work out for you. Okay, well, it is what it is. But we just take advantage of what's in front of you. I said,
what advice would you give those women wrestlers out there that are looking to get into college coaching after their career ends?
Well, women's wrestling right now is really growing. They are looking for females a lot. My biggest thing, take advantage of it. Probably would be an assistant or grad assistant before becoming a head coach. That was probably one advice. I'm grateful for mine. Like I went straight to the head coach, but I did learn a lot. I think I learned a lot more as an assistant, had a good guidance, a good mentor too as well. But yeah, just start off, as a grad assistant, if that's opportunities there. If not, be an assistant coach, take a couple years, learn, and once that head coach opportunity pops up, apply for it if you're ready. But there's nothing wrong being an assistant coach though. I love being an assistant, so can't say anything.
What advice would you give those future head coaches and even assistant coaches looking to coach in women's wrestling?
You're gonna need some patience. You will need patience with coaching women, and biggest advice is, like I said earlier, knowing their personalities, getting to know your athletes' personalities, the way you could talk to them, the way you could get through them. That would be my biggest advice as a female coach coaching females. Even my head coach, he's a male, and that's the same advice he'll probably most likely say too, getting to know your athletes and how to talk to them. Because once you could talk to them and build that relationship with them, it's gonna be smooth sailing.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the Grandview Women's Wrestling Program at?
Repeat that again.
Where can my listeners find the Grandview Women's Wrestling Program at on social media along with you at?
So we have Instagram. It is GB_ women's wrestling. Our Facebook should be very similar to is Grandview Women's Wrestling, and Twitter probably the same. So we're pretty active on Instagram and Facebook. If anybody has questions, I'm on the social media account. So Instagram, you go, you shoot me a message and I'll respond back to you pretty quickly on there. But we're pretty active on social media. It's pretty easy to find us. We're on TikTok too. The girls are working on the TikTok account right now.
Thank you again, Coach Arelys Valles, for your interview, and best luck in your future at Grandview as the assistant women's wrestling coach.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.